What is up, everybody? I just wanted to do a quick review of the air filter I put in my truck. I have a 2014 Silverado Z71. I didn't buy it, obviously, looking for good gas mileage. Not really worried about the gas mileage. I needed a truck, needed a four-wheel drive. This is my ideal truck. So, purchased this truck. Obviously, it doesn't get good gas mileage. That's not the point of it. But I figured when I was putting an air filter in, if I was going to go spend $20, $25 on a paper air filter, I would look at my options and see what was out there. I'm not a fan of cold air intakes on a new vehicle. I feel like they spend millions of dollars trying to squeeze gas mileage out of cars these days. So there's probably not much of a need for cold air intake. This one does actually take air out of the fender. It has kind of a small hole. It could probably be opened up and do a little better. But there's nothing a cold air intake would do that would improve the gas mileage on this vehicle. I'm not a fan of oiled air filters, even though this doesn't have the filament style mass airflow sensor, I don't think. Having worked on cars for a living, I saw tons of Canon air filters causing check engine lights. So it's just always been something I stayed away from. If you do it right, it's not a problem. You put the right amount of oil on it, you clean it, you keep it maintained, you're not going to have a problem with a Canon filter. It's just one of those things that I've just always stayed away from. So I was trying to see what other options were out there. One thing I found was AFE makes a dry type performance air filter, better flow, doesn't use oil, washable, reusable. I had two thoughts here. One, if I have to replace an air filter and it's $20, $25, this one was $55 or $60. So two and a half air filter changes, it's already paid for itself. Whether or not improved performance, whether or not improved gas mileage didn't really matter to me. I was going to be saving money in the long run. So rather than spend $20 or $25 on a paper filament air filter that was going to need to be replaced in 15 or 20,000 miles, I went with this performance air filter. Here's my thoughts on that. I did improve gas mileage, surprisingly. I thought if I was going to pick anything up, it might be 1/10, maybe 2/10 miles per gallon. I picked up a full half mile per gallon. I'd say half mile per gallon was a pretty realistic gain. Again, I'll show you in the video, I'll show you the before and the after. Pretty consistently, this truck has gotten 14.3 miles per gallon over the life of it, or over the 20,000 miles or so that I've put on it. Afterwards, it got close to 15. It got 14.8, 14.9. It was really borderline, switching back and forth depending on if I drove on the highway or whatever. All right, 2014 Silverado, 5.3, four-wheel drive. Gets about 14.5 miles to the gallon. A little less, actually. That's over a 15,000 mile period, normal driving. A couple road trips in there, but a couple towing trips too, so it probably kind of evens out. But this is, you know, a quarter tank of gas so far, and that's what I get. 14.2, 14.3 is pretty normal. All right, so after close to 700 miles driving back and forth to work, hit about 15 miles per gallon average. Like I was showing you before, things pretty consistently gotten 14.3, whether it was back and forth to work, a couple highway trips mixed in, 15,000 miles and 300 miles and 500 miles. It was always right around 14.3. True gains, probably about a half mile per gallon. With the AFE performance, I think they call it a Pro Power filter. I don't know. I'll obviously get to that. I'll put a link down in the description of the video also. The link will be to where I bought mine. You probably have to find the one for your vehicle. If you do have the 14 body style, I think it's probably the 07 to 19 uses the same filter. Overall, pretty happy with it. The cleaning has been really easy. I did try cleaning it just to see what it was like. Just ran some water over it, some soapy water, rinsed it out, let it dry out. So super easy. Don't have to oil it. Don't really have to mess with it. Big improvement though. Half mile to the gallon, way more than expected. The fitment of the filter was great. Has the big rubber gasket around the outside of it. Big rubber gasket fit nice and tight. It fit in the box perfectly. Down the line, I will probably do a couple of other things to this truck. The 14s, maybe the 15s, had this really bad lag when you stood on the throttle. And this one, if I jump on it at an intersection, sometimes it feels completely dead, like it's about to shut off. It doesn't stall, it doesn't idle rough, it doesn't do any of that. It's just a delay in the throttle response, and I don't know what it is, but I've read a bunch of the reviews from all the programmers out there, and the programmers seem to eliminate that. They seem to make it shift a little better. I'm not really a big fan of putting a program on a gas motor. You're not really going to get a whole lot out of a gas motor. Again, the factory spends millions of dollars trying to get A, optimum fuel economy, and B, get the thing as far under emissions regulations as possible, so that way it helps them sell more vehicles or whatever the bonuses they get from, you know, their average miles per gallon and their average emissions being under certain specs. So, not really a fan of programmers on gas motors. The only reason I'm going to do it on this one is to fix the lag, make the transmission shift a little bit more firm. Again, like I said, I have the camper on the back. I do some mild overlanding, off-road camping, whatever you want to call it. I don't go driving through 10-foot deep puddles with a snorkel on the truck. I'm really planning on getting out to some backwoods places where I do have to engage the four-wheel drive, but I'm not crawling over rocks. I'm not dragging the doors along rocks. I'm not doing anything like that. That being said, I do want a little bit more performance out of it. I'm not talking 100 horsepower. I'm not talking 50 horsepower. I'm just talking better throttle response, better, cleaner shifting, things that aren't going to wear out the truck. So, in between the middle of this video here, I'll put, you know, fast forwarded view of the install. It's just installing an air filter, so 90% of your cars out there have a really easy air filter install. I'll go ahead and put that video up. But yeah, definitely recommend this filter. If you're interested in more about my truck, I'm going to do a couple more of these videos. I do have a leveling kit that I've put on it, some wheels, tires. I'm going to go to these Fox shocks that are the coilovers eventually. So I'll try and do some updates on the truck. If you want to see about my camper rig, I'm putting together a video right now for that. It's probably going to be a little delayed. I have a trip to Nashville coming up for the draft, the NFL draft, and a couple other trips coming up. So it's really hard to put together videos when I'm working, you know, 10, 11-hour days during the week. Weather's real good right now. I'm probably going to go hop on the boat and take the boat out. So some of it, the free time I do have, I am spending entertaining myself. So I apologize if it's a little while in between videos. Again, I'll get into a camper rig one. I'm definitely going to start putting together videos of some of my adventures. I just did a trip last week to Sunset Beach down here just outside of Galveston. I'm probably going to do South Padre. We got a couple national forests, Davy Crockett, Sam Houston. I'm probably going to do a Big Bend trip and just keep going from there. So I'll definitely do some adventure trips. I'll definitely do some camp setup stuff. Definitely do some of my rig, which is, you know, the pop-top truck camper. It's the Silverado. It's anything I feel would be used well for off-road camping or some of this adventure camping, expedition camping. I don't know. I've seen a million different names for it. The most funny one I saw was someone called it soft roading, which is probably the closest to what I do. Again, so if you're interested in any of that, hit subscribe. I will definitely start putting together some of those videos. Again, there's probably a few weeks in between each of them because I'm not a video maker. It's not something that I plan to do, you know, every week. It's not a vlog. It's not a daily thing. It's just something where I feel like when I was looking for stuff for my truck, there wasn't great resources out there, especially on this air filter. I mean, everything that reviewed this air filter was a commercial for this air filter where AFE had paid. Every video I saw was a paid advertisement for the filter as far as I was concerned. Someone was getting a free filter and a kickback to do a review of it, and of course they had great things to say. That being said, I knew about K&N. I've used K&N before. Coming from off-road racing, really wanted something that was a dry type filter. I didn't want to be a bunch of dust clinging to the thing. I wanted it to filter very well, and I wanted it to be dry. So couldn't find any videos on it. I said, hey, I'm going to throw this thing in there. I'm going to make a quick video, at least reviewing real world stuff versus putting it on a dyno or whatever these guys were doing and claiming they were getting 10 horsepower, 15 horsepower, whatever they got. This did feel a little bit snappier on the throttle. Some of that's probably just in my head. Obviously, I don't feel like it probably gains very much. But the gas mileage improvement was real. It was a real world test in a real daily driven truck that you know, for all intents and purposes is as accurate of a comparison as you could possibly get. So I wanted to put that video together. When I level my truck, there aren't any great videos showing before and after. There's some things, some suspension upgrades I need to do to this to handle the weight of the camper. Again, there's no real world videos for that. So if I put the Sumo springs on, I go to the Bilstein 5100s in the back. As I do those things, I'm going to shoot some video of it. Maybe not the install so much. I don't really care to do install videos. I worked on cars for a living. I don't know how helpful those are to the everyday Joe. If it was a step-by-step video and I was really good at making something like that, I would probably do it. But it wouldn't be step-by-step, and it would probably just frustrate people. So I might put it on fast forward and just show the steps I'm doing, but I will definitely show some upgrade videos where I'm showing some real world usage of my truck, installation of shocks. Again, I want to see, how level this truck gets when I put the Sumo springs back on it, or put the Sumo springs on it, put the Bilsteins on it. When I go to the right wheels and tires, I want to show real world stuff. So I will put together more videos, but they're just not going to come very fast, and I apologize about that. So some of these things are definitely going to be more helpful, I think, than the paid advertisements that are being masked as YouTube videos currently. So no paid advertisings for me. I will put links in the description of some of the products I'm linking to. Even if I say I don't like them, I'll probably put a link in the description to let you find out for yourself if you don't believe me. But overall, these are going to be my honest opinion. Keep an eye out for other videos. I'll try and make them at least frequently enough to where, it's not a year in between them. Thanks for taking your time. Again, if you want to buy this air filter, I will have a link down in the description. Anything else that you want to see me, review that's on my truck. I put a leveling kit on here. I put some upper arms, some China upper arms on it. I didn't go with the Cognito, Camberg, Baja kits, all these upper arm kits, because strictly I just wanted it to help with the alignment. I'm not trying to get more travel out of the front. Eventually I might, but currently I just wanted, when you level it, the alignment goes to crap, and it's a real pain in the ass to get it in. I wanted to fix that, so I went with an upper arm. I went with a Chinese upper arm. I'll put a link in there to that now, and I'll eventually make a video kind of reviewing that when I have the wheels off it again and kind of show it off. The upper arms were great. So I've definitely done some stuff to the truck already, and I will continue to do some upgrades to the truck, usable upgrades, and I will continue to shoot video and show people there's other stuff out there than just the paid advertisements that, again, are masked as YouTube videos. So hope you like it. If you don't, I apologize. If you do, follow me. One Overland, the number one Overland at Instagram. That's not currently the Facebook address. Facebook really hates changing a name, so I'll fix that, but I'll put links to that in the description also. Awesome. Thank you again, and have a great day.